Hey y'all, I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Alyssa.
We're your buttons babes, and this week we are going to be pushing that depression button, like the gray area of depression.
What does that mean exactly?
Right? Because Alyssa and I had a conversation, as we always do recently, and we're both like in this malaise or like this funk of like right? I'm like, what the fuck is this? And how do I navigate through it? Because I do, like, there are different levels of depression. And, like, it's weird because I'm happy and I'm grateful and I know that things could be worse and blah, 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 first world problems. And I'm like, but at the same time, there's this weird, like, deep sadness of, like, what the fuck am I doing and why? Like, just can I just lay here? I hate it here. I don't want to be here anymore. But not to the point that I'm actually going to do any thing about it. Like, and I'm like, what is this? What?
Just everything hurts.
Yep. Everything
but
sucks.
Like not physically hurting. Yeah, it's like limbo.
Oh,
like
that's a good way of putting it.
Depression limbo of like. Yeah. Nothing is wrong.
Yes. It's the nothing is wrong that is driving me insane, because usually, like, you can, like, pinpoint what it is, or we think, oh, if I accomplish XYZ, I'm going to be happy and I'm not going to feel this way anymore. But, like, you're stuck in this limbo of everything is fine, nothing is really wrong. So do I just allow it to run its course, and do I feel it, or do I fake the funk and push through?
Like, but like, what is running its course? Like, I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I think like I was for sure have like seasonal depression has always been. Yeah. We've been there. That's
it's
life.
Real.
She's there. She's always there, and that like I think I grew up like understanding how to like deal with that. Thankfully. For me, like, it was just moving around, being in the sun, lots of vitamin D, love tanning, hello orange girls, like, it's me, Jessica. Like, you know, like, that was fine. And then I think, like, coming to LA, like, adjusting and being able to, like, oh, like, I'm in, like, okay, seasonal depression, like, you're pretty stable. Like, you're like, that, like, cough that just doesn't go away, that you're like, yeah, whatever. Like, this is just part of who I am now. And like COVID.
Yo, it's a whole nother level.
That was like a cloud, like a dark gray cloud depression that like I didn't know that I was there until I came out of that cloud. And then I was like, oh, I was depressed. Like, I was depressed.
Yes, didn't want to do anything days. Like, and can't do anything days.
And like the burnout for me is what like got me there. And it took me like, I don't know, a year and a half to see that like, oh, that had happened to me. Like, okay. And then there was like a like period that I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I can see that. I'm past that. But then like all of, not recently, but like in the last probably like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 month like time, I don't know what it is, but like, yeah, there's just like underlying like
messiness,
sad, like,
yes.
Yeah, like I'm tired, like I don't like feel like the need or the like urge that I'm like, you know, yeah, I don't want to take action on not being here, but like, I don't want to fucking be here.
Right.
I don't want to wake up.
I don't want to do anything. Like, there have been many a days where I have just laid there in bed till like 12, 1 o'clock. And then I'm like, I guess I should be productive.
I should shower,
or
maybe brush my teeth. I am showering now. Yeah. I legitimately was not showering regularly for a period of time.
There's a couple of times where it's like, you know, I made it out of the bedroom today, so that's a win. Like, I'm up, I'm in the beanbag, I'm reading, I'm working on something, but also trying to find, like, sometimes it's hard to realize those days where, like, okay, this is what you need. Like, to stay in bed, do nothing, and be okay. Like, I'm not okay with doing nothing. It gives me anxiety.
I love doing nothing. I am a lazy fucking bitch sometimes. So, like, those days, I can allow myself those days if the rest of my world lets me have it. Like that's why weekends are so sacred to me, because those are the days I'm like
this is what I
can literally just lay here and breathe, and that's it. And those days, like, I need those, but those days are not good for you. Like, those are your bad days.
But they are. But I'm trying to figure out why they are my bad days and why I have to feel like I'm constantly doing something. Like I'm trying to allow myself to feel okay with doing nothing.
It's uncomfortable to sit and do nothing. It feels a little wasteful at first, but.
And I've learned how to trick my brain. Like, I'm doing nothing, but if I'm laying in bed and watching shows or watching a movie, I'm like, I'm doing research. This is work. This is work for projects that we have going on. This is, research or homework. As the artist, actor, like all of the things, like I piece it apart, and like yes and no. And so I have to trick my brain into that, because it also brings me
productivity.
I'm trying to find the joy in it. Like, yes. And it's something, I had a conversation with two relatives that are of the older generation, and they were very confused because were reading or seeing in the news that a lot of like the younger generation, like they're dealing with pandemic anxiety and like getting back into the world and depression. And they're like, what? Like, you just need to like push through, pull it together. What are you depressed about? I'm like, we don't
What am
know.
I not surprised about? That's exactly like, I don't know, but like, it's there.
They were like, you fucking youngsters and your feelings. And I was like, hold up. Wait a minute. Like, and had to take a moment to break down for them, like understanding the anxiety behind, going back out into the world. They're like, shouldn't you be grateful, or like, isn't it great that things are opening back up? I'm like,
no, I want them to be closed. Like, I want to be able to stay in my house.
Yes and no. Like, it's weird because I'm a very outgoing, love people kind of person, and I had to break it down and explain to them. I'm like, I am an what's the word? Extrovert.
Yes.
But I understand that level of anxiety, because for so long, for the past 2 years, we have
2 years.
Two years. I was like, it's a different setup. Where am I at?
New phone, who dis?
2 years we have been in our bubble of people, and I have
3, 4, maybe max people. Like, I mean,
and I have become low key an introvert, and so like. I explained to them, going back out to the world when you're used to like it just being your home and those 2 or 3 people, like there are times where I go to the grocery store and I have like anxiety and I don't know how to, like I do for the most part. I'm that person that makes eye contact with people and starts a conversation because I'm like, oh, people, how do we do this again? And so like there's a level of anxiety there where it's like, oh no, I just need to be back in like my warm and
I need
fuzzy.
my bubble.
Yes.
Like, where's my bubble? I'm like, yes.
And so I'm also curious about we didn't really get into this, but like how it's going to affect kids and the way that they socialize, and like there's going to be
I know there are studies like happening, or like people who do studies, people, the intellectual world who focuses on these types of things. I for sure read like that. Like, yeah, there's going to be a generation that's utterly.
I'm a little nervous for them.
I'm in terms of like communicating.
I'm nervous for us too, because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling it. And I'm wondering, because I've never felt this level of like gray, like happy but super sad. Like this is the first time I've realized, oh, I can be both. Like I can be happy and grateful and super excited, and like this is the happiest I've ever been in my life, and I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. But this malaise of it's so heavy and it hurts and I hate it here and I don't want to. It's hard to push through and find that motivation to like do and to be. And I'm wondering if that has to do with being in isolation, the pandemic, and just how it's put a lot of things into perspective.
Oh, I think for sure. This is something that, shout out to my new therapist, we've been talking about. Like, I've been frustrated with like work for a while now, and like going through like the burnout and the changes. And I told her, like, I feel silly being so upset about like that. I'm like so upset about this. Like, there are literally people dying. Like, and that's, I think, something that has always been an issue for me is like, I love storytelling, and working in marketing is an aspect and a way to storytell, but it's such a also bullshit. Like, it's so like, it's just so wasteful sometimes.
Yes,
and I hate it because I'm like, I don't want to pay Facebook $350,000 a year to sell something to someone, you know, like
that people don't need.
That like people don't need, exactly. But like, I love my, you know, the numbers and like the growth and like this is a brand, like I love those aspects. But like there are people in so many places in our own country who like can't even use a fucking bathroom because they're home, like, you know, that like juxtaposition of like, what did she call it? It's like comparative something, but like you're trying to compare apples and oranges basically, because she's like, okay, you're not in this other country where people are, you know, having a genocide happening. You're not there, so it's not your direct thing. Like, you need to not
be so tied to it, because it's not that it doesn't matter, but there is little to nothing that we can do. Like, that's not our world. It's in our world, but
unless that is my job to do, and like I'm going there, like I can't do that. And she's like, it's not silly. Like, yes, we all have our first world problems, but like you also need to let yourself have that problem in order to like let it go, to like be whole again.
Damn.
And
I might need your therapist's number.
Yeah, she's great.
she sounds real good.
Yeah. I've cried the most like in conversations with her, because like I just feel so like I'm so sad about this thing that is so like trivial and silly in my mind, because that's also like kind of going back to like older family members of like you didn't have that like luxury of like stopping to take a moment and breathe. And I think that's something that like when I was younger and like bad things happen and you just go.
Yep.
I mean,
you don't get to feel it.
You don't get to it's process. Your fight or flight of just like, I have to do this. Like I don't get to feel this. And I like low-key miss being in that kind of chaotic state of like, I don't have time to feel this.
Yes. It's a layer of ignorance.
Now that I have
bliss.
time to like feel and process, I'm like, I don't want these feelings. I don't want to feel this. I don't need
or want to be this self-aware.
Yeah. And so like I'm at the point of like, I am aware that I'm like in this weird pool of like feeling sorry for myself, but like it's okay that I'm feeling this because I need to feel it to get out of the pool. But like I'm like, how the fuck do I do? That's like, how do I do this?
It feels like quicksand, like trying to like get out of it, but allow it like to sink enough and to feel it so that there can be some, you know, like movement.
The discovery
forward.
of like what is it? Like I'm trying to like get to the bottom, but like not get to the bottom. Like I don't want to know why I'm so sad, but like I know that I need to know why I'm so fucking sad.
And to recognize like, okay, both can be true. I can be super happy and I can be super sad. Like you can be in a great place in your life and still like have
a terrible place.
Yes, and still have mental health issues. Like I've had conversations with a handful of friends where they have a hard time understanding that, and so sometimes like it might make it worse that like I fake the funk, or like let me pretend to be happy so that you don't have to deal with like
I feel like most people in my circle, thankfully, shout out to all of you amazing people, like if they don't know firsthand, they've at least like allowed me to be this
whatever this is.
This, and like I'm sure there's someone that I'm faking the funk to, but like I think most people are like, yeah, that's just okay. Like you're there, and like that's where you are. Like,
and I think it takes in well, duh, in my opinion, it takes some courage to like let people know or to admit, but like, look, like because you can tell when someone is off,
You
or
can,
or
absolutely.
they're faking, and so I'm like, you know what, fuck this. I'm like, no, I've got something going
struggling.
on. I
We're
don't know what it is. It's seasonal depression or it's entrepreneurial depression. It is something, but it feels like I'm treading water right now. And so don't take it personally. Being able to also have friends in your life where you can articulate that to them, or just like them understanding, like, yo, sometimes I just need to do the slow creep crawl back into
Kim
the
Kardashian
bushes.
into the bushes meme.
and just be like, I'm in a space, don't take it personally. I need to do nothing, be by myself. Like, I'm not responding the way that I usually am to things, or I've got to shut off the social media and just be like, yo, I'll be back when I'm back.
Yeah. I think being on the other side of that, that's
gotta be hard too.
I'm like, yes, I'm sure. Excuse me. I'm sure it is. That was a bacon burp. Apologies. But like, I think something like my favorite TikTok, depression TikTok. There's a lot of great people that are like, this is how you are. Like, this is how you reach out or like allow your friend who's like in this struggling space to be. And there's like people who talk about it for relationships. Like, if you're dating someone who's depressed,
oh, that's good.
This is how to like.
I'd love to dive into that more, because I can't, like, there's two sides to it. Like, how do you allow your partner, like, give your partner the space to be able to be and not take it personally? Be like, it's not me, it's them. They don't want to be around themselves, and it's like not allowing it to, I mean, it's going to affect them, but how do you...
I fell asleep.
Oh no! Oh, okay, never mind.
But yeah, I think like
we don't have to dive into that deeper.
The taking it personally thing, I think, is like the hardest, because I know that I've for sure been a little miffed by like someone who I didn't know like was going through something, and because I took it personally, then I was like, well, like whatever, and then I found out one way, or we had a conversation, and then it's like, oh fuck yeah, this isn't about me. Like, this isn't about me. And I think that like,
I think that's the constant reminder, like, that you have to play, like that's the record you have to play in your mind. Sometimes it's like, okay, it might be draining or exhausting to a certain extent, and it's annoying, but this isn't about me. They're going through X, Y, and Z, and I love them, and they will get back to who they are, or I just need to be okay with allowing them to be, and let them know, like, if you need me, I'm here. If you don't, like...
And that's, I mean, we've had this conversation a couple times of not in depression related, but like in general, like, when I'm having a bad day, or like when something is going wrong in my life, when I'm ready to talk about it, like, I'll let you know, like, okay, I want to talk about this, or like, I need someone else's I need to get it out, because it's doing too much bad here. But like, someone pressing me, knowing,
right? It's
I'm like,
look,
get out of my spit. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm not ready to talk about this. Like, and whereas some people are like, oh, you can see that they're in a bad space, and they won't talk about it until you approach them, and like. As long as that's
emotional intelligence.
As long as that's communicated, then it's like, oh, okay, then I know I need to follow up. But like, I think that's so important for people, just to know, like, yeah, I'm feeling real bad and I don't know what to do, but like, knowing that like I can just say like, hey, can you come over?
Yes.
Like, or just like, being able to like have that space like is super important, I think, because we definitely cannot be the only two people in this place like who are struggling with this grade. But like,
I have that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, like, as you can see, this button is like, it's
really
murky,
uncomfortable and really hard.
It's deep. That's what she said. Kind of. Anyway, I'm trying to wrap it up, y'all, but this one, like, we could go on and
We
on.
could just keep talking,
yes,
clearly.
But we would love to know who else out there is feeling that gray right now, and what are some of the things that you have done to either, you know,
Make
allow
it,
make it better,
make it worse.
like therapy is super great, but sometimes that's another button. Therapy, like trying to find a therapist, like that is something that is stressful within itself.
It took me a year. It took me a year to like make that.
It's one of those adult things where it's like, how? Help. And actually it's not that hard, but
like it's hard.
Like anyway.
Yeah.
Let us know. Drop that in the comments in terms of how you're handling this time, the gray, seasonal depression.
If you're okay, if you're not okay, it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
Like, I mean, you can DM us if it's better to just like unload and you just want to get it off and out and type it, and then also say like, I don't want you to bother me with the response. Right? Like whatever you're comfortable with.
We're trying to say y'all ain't alone. I hope I think we know we're not alone. But all right, that is the long-winded button for the week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Bye.